All right. Let's see. Now we move on to part 4, Tuchanka and the Citadel, and, well, the topic of Cerberus. This will be part 4 out of the 10 that I split that long 2-hour video into, and please hit the like and subscribe button, and please remember, before you hit for those of you who like to click the unlike button, the dislike button, please remember that this is not my video. I mean, this is not my opinion necessarily. I'm simply responding to Zaid's video. So, well, Diaz's video now. So, yeah, please. Thank you.
So from here, things are pretty straightforward. You go to Palaven's moon, meet up with the Turian Primarch, meet up with Rex and the Solarian diplomat, and talk about curing the genophage.
He's not going to mention it, but one thing I was really, really looking forward to was visiting the homeworld. When I heard that we were on our way to Palaven, I was, hey, it may be war-torn, but we get to see Palaven. But no, instead we're sent to the moon instead, and so I was hugely disappointed there.
And it's here where the Tuchanka arc begins. A lot of people praise this arc for being the best written storyline in the game, but since this is Mass Effect 3, that's not exactly a high bar to jump over. There's still a number of confusing elements and plot holes to be found. For starters, they mention an indoctrinated Molan STG, which is never explored. Are they saying this is the work of the Reapers? Why would they want to compromise the cure? Doesn't that go against their goal of reserving organic life? Why?
It's preserving life, not reserving life. But yeah, I agree. I was looking around for the indoctrinated mole, but I couldn't find him, and yeah.
Organic life? Why isn't Rex acting diplomatic here? As someone who used diplomacy in a calm exterior to unite the Krogan, he should know that throwing Solarians around and pulling a shotgun on them is not going to get him what he wants.
Definitely, absolutely. But on the other hand, he's probably really, really pent up, and he finally hears of a fertile female. So, heck, his biotics are blue, and that probably, well, he's blue in some other area as well. So, yeah.
Why is Cerberus on Tuchanka at all? There's never a cutscene explaining why they're there or what their goal is.
Yeah, not only does Cerberus occupy most of the campaign, this is one of at least 2, maybe 3 times where it would have made a lot more sense for the Reapers to show up and not Cerberus. There should be a Sovereign class Reaper flying overhead, dropping husks all over the place instead of, Cerberus showing up out of nowhere. Really stupid.
There or what their goal is. It really shows how rushed this game was when they couldn't provide an additional cutscene where Tim explains why he sent troops there. And the shroud they used to disperse the cure is just a random Deus Ex they bring up as a convenient plot device. We're just now hearing about it when the Krogan clan members have been scouting the entire planet. I find it hard to believe that no one found this stupid thing before now. And if the shroud is their plan, how does it have enough power to run the dispersal if Tuchanka has been a wasteland for years? There's literally no solar energy because the planet was decimated by nuclear holocaust. In the bomb side quest, they mention a weapon that was used in the Krogan rebellions that apparently no one thought of activating to use against the Reapers. Why wouldn't they reactivate it when Tuchanka is being invaded?
I was thinking that as well. Why don't we salvage the bomb, for one thing? And second of all, I don't remember if I mentioned this before or not, but I did mention this on Reddit, and some people agreed with me, I'm happy to say. Drop canisters of acid on the Reapers. They're like Emily Wong was viciously and unnecessarily murdered off by BioWare through a Twitter post. They said that she rammed her little sky car or sky van into a Reaper, a pointless death that achieved nothing at all. Well, imagine if people did that or put droids inside a car and filled the car with delicate canisters of acid and rammed a Reaper. The acid would burn the Reapers. And I know this because that the shields won't help they won't help the Reaper, because remember when they had the Rachni or a Thresher Moss spit at the Mako? The acid spit, completely bypassed the shields and started destroying the vehicle very quickly. I believe that could be done to a Reaper as well. So, yeah.
Also, how did Cerberus get the intel for this bomb when the information was highly classified? They should not have this type of information that no one else knew about.
And this right there is also an example of something the Reapers should have been on instead of Cerberus. Cerberus has quite literally no business on Tuchanka. And yeah, of course the Reapers shouldn't have been able to dig the bomb out either. Not so quickly, unless somebody, an indoctrinated team found it. Then it would make sense.
this type of information that no one else knew about. And even if they knew where to find the bomb, how the hell did they dig it up so quickly? They clearly state it was able to remain hidden for so long because it was deep underground, enough to go unnoticed. So you mean to tell me Cerberus was able to land on Tuchanka without being detected and uncovered this bomb in a matter of hours? That's bullshit. There are just so many moments of plot convenience in this game that if you made a drinking game out of it, you'd be incapacitated in minutes. If you still don't believe me, then perhaps this will convince you. The Cerberus invasion of the Citadel. That comes flat out of nowhere in spite of how impossible it would be for Cerberus to accomplish such a feat. I mean, my god. It's incredible how badly they were power scaled from Mass Effect 1 to 3. In Mass Effect 1, the Cerberus operatives you fought were your average run-of-the-mill thugs. They were described as a small subgroup in the Alliance that went rogue. They did nothing to stand out from other human enemies you battled. In Mass Effect 2, Tim spent billions of credits resurrecting Shepard. I'd imagine Tim spent a lot of resources and money into the Lazarus Project to bring a single person back from the dead. But in this game, somehow, Cerberus has a shitload of heavy armory and weaponry and the military power to not only invade Tuchanka and Surkesh undetected, as well as Thessia from what we see earlier, as well as have enough soldiers to spare for dozens of other operations, but now they invaded the Citadel with almost no effort.
Yeah, they went somehow from a tiny terrorist organization to the Grand Army of the Republic on one man's wealth. Last I checked, it takes the wealth of an entire nation to build such an army, but they're going to pretend one guy did it. And not only did one man build his own giant army, it's more technologically advanced than the alliances. I mean, I don't remember seeing a single alliance atlas, for example. The one time I ever see a blue atlas, it's the one that's used in that silly Citadel DLC mission, which personally I shouldn't have happened. I think Cat 6, the whole Cat 6 battle was wholly unnecessary, and because it's DLC, it's never seen or heard from again, despite the fact that such an organization would have gained notoriety. And of course, there is also, thankfully, a mod that adds an atlas, sadly one that never gets used, an atlas with the Alliance colors. I think it was pretty cool. Shout out to that one. Anyway, sorry about the interruption.
But now they invaded the Citadel with almost no effort. There is absolutely no consistency to how they're structured. They're just as big or as small as the plot needs them to be. When Saren invaded the Citadel in Mass Effect 1, he had several advantages that Cerberus shouldn't have. He had a Reaper on his side, as well as the Geth who were armed with advanced technology and capable of easily hacking enemy systems. Are you seriously trying to tell me that Cerberus got on that same level in the span of a few months? That is not possible.
This is another reason why, like I've said before in the earlier video, this is why I give Cerberus the collector base, because it's the only way for Cerberus's sudden power scale to even begin to make sense in the third game. I give him the collector base, yeah.
There is nothing believable about this situation. Where's the Citadel fleet? Why was C-Sec easily defeated? They never improved their defenses? Do they still have shitty security after 2 games worth of people running rampant around the Citadel? I mean, maybe this would be more believable if we saw Cerberus struggling in some way, but from what we're shown, the battle between Cerberus and C-Sec is completely one-sided. Cerberus should not have defeated C-Sec so easily.
Especially considering that most of C-Sec are Turians, and Turians have lots of military training. They're basically the South Koreans of the galaxy. Every male, in fact, even the women. No, nix that, not South Korea. Israel. Israel mandates the women get military training as well. So, yeah.
Cited. Cerberus should not have defeated C-Sec so easily. The Citadel is the most heavily guarded place in the galaxy. This invasion shouldn't even be happening. Are we really just supposed to believe this was all made possible because Udina disabled security? And that's another thing. Udina was utterly butchered in this game.
Yeah, I mean, how does... Udina pushes a button and turns off all the security cameras and any automated sentry guns that could have helped, as well as any low-key mechs that might be guarding the Citadel. But the game never mentions any distraction, or what's the word, diversion. Where's the Citadel fleet? Maybe he redirected them somewhere and sent out a false distress signal. He could have done something, but no, they never mention it. Oh man, oh man. All the more reason why I hate the third game.
Made possible because Udina disabled security? And that's another thing. Udina was utterly butchered in this game. In the first 2 games, Udina was a douchebag. But he was a necessary douchebag. He acted as a representative for humanity and spoke against the Council's unfair treatment of humans. He also put faith in Shepard because he recognizes them for representing the best that humanity has to offer. He was a tough talker, but also a willing ally when it mattered. He also had an open willingness to work on the dirty side of politics, knowing there would be people who disagree with his beliefs, because he knows that interstellar galactic politics is a necessary part of galactic society.
I'm the one who destroyed the Thorian. I don't remember seeing you around.
We can't all be the hero who charges in to save the day, Commander. But we each serve humanity in our own way. You can't escape interstellar politics. It's part of the big picture. And sometimes it isn't pretty.
He was bold, straightforward, and stood for his beliefs no matter who stood against him. These things helped to make Udina an interesting character. Mass Effect 3 ruins his character.
I have to admit, he is right. I really, really wanted to shoot Udina myself, but at the same time, him suddenly siding with Cerberus feels extremely out of nowhere. It's like you just made it up on the spot. But I got to remind myself that this is a different writing team we're talking about, and unfortunately, most people seem to forget that, or they didn't know it in the first place. But Mass Effect 3 was written by a different group of writers than the group that wrote the first two games. I'm pretty sure that Drew Karpyshyn and the rest of the guys would not have killed off Udina, at least not in this manner. Not pulling an act of traitorism out of nowhere, an act of betrayal.
Udina an interesting character. Mass Effect 3 ruins his character. Like, completely obliterates it. They basically just made him into a stupider version of Tim, sacrificing his previous beliefs in some stupid single-minded pursuit for power. And it doesn't even make sense since he said this in an earlier scene.
With Parliament destroyed and Shastri gone, I have more power than any human in history. But today, you saw how little that is.
Really? Well, if you have more power than any human in history, what the fuck do you need Cerberus for? Your motivation is asinine. Why do you care how much power you have or how much power humanity has on the Citadel when the Reapers are destroying everything? You have zero reason to sell out your loyalty to Cerberus. He's the human counselor. He is making an alliance with an organization who is the enemy of the Council, which is actively going to reduce his power. He is acting completely against his own interests. He's not even indoctrinated like Tim. For what reason does he think teaming up with Cerberus will make him more powerful? There is literally no reason for this to happen except artificial tension and to force Udina out of the plot. What was even Cerberus's goal here? Even if they did succeed in taking over the Citadel, what did they think was going to happen after?
This, unfortunately, is just another reminder of how they decided idiotically to make Cerberus the main bad guy. Having elusive man saying Udina was expendable, and oh man, just doesn't make sense.
Even if they did succeed in taking over the Citadel, what did they think was going to happen after? Did they really think there was going to be no revolt from the other species? Did they think they were just going to sit back and accept Cerberus as their new rulers?
I hate to bring it up also, but the first game, there are 3 or 4 different kind of endings, and one of them includes having an all-human council as of a human takeover of the Citadel. And unfortunately, I must, as much as I love the story of the first game, I admit that choice is kind of stupid to have. I mean, how is it even possible? I mean, do you really think they're just going that the Asari and Turians and Solarians are just going to let humans take the Citadel by force like that? I don't know what they were thinking. Although I do admit that does invite the possibility of a spin-off game. This is one thing that no franchise ever seems to have the cojones, the guts, the balls to do, and that would be to create a spin-off game that answers the what if questions. What if humanity attempted to seize control of the Citadel by force after Sovereign destroyed the original council? That'd be pretty cool. I mean, Star Wars has, to a degree, some of that because unfortunately they've turned their expanded universe into legends, quote unquote legends. But hey, I think other franchises should give that a try. I mean, if EA is so determined to milk money out of the franchise, then allow the writers of BioWare, of course the old writers, bring them back, the guys who are currently making Exodus, bring them back and have them answer these what if questions with spin-off stories. That'd be cool in my opinion.
new rulers, a lot of them are already on shaky terms with humanity, so I would imagine this would make them look worse. I'd say this would be the most retarded thing to come out of this subplot, but unfortunately...
Yeah, I had to cut it off there because I figured that that would be the perfect time to cut it off, and, yep, well, anyway, until next time I can. Unfortunately, my life has gotten rather hectic and busy, so I cannot make a video every week, but I do try to release it on Friday afternoon, as it is written that that's the best day to release things. So I'm doing what I can. Anyway, please hit the like button and subscribe, and possibly click the bell for notifications. Please do not click the dislike button. Instead, post a comment telling me why you dislike the video so I can improve myself. Please and thank you. And take care, y'all. Have a good day.